Welcome to the Rent Success podcast, the only podcast entirely dedicated to helping you achieve rent-to-rent success. We talk about the ethical way to get you started in property without buying it. This is our place to inspire each other to believe bigger, to be bolder, and to be game changers for good. Property investors and sisters Stephanie and Nicky Taylor are your guides on this exciting ride. Let's start up the engines and get ready to fly. Hello. Stephanie here. Welcome to episode 33 of Ask the Angels, where we answer your rent-to-rent questions. If you'd love to have your question answered and talk to us live, join us on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is the new social media audio app. At the moment, we're meeting Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Check out renttosuccess.com/clubhouse to add any upcoming dates to your calendar. So today, I have a question asked at one of our rent-to-rent strategy sessions, and it was a question from Sandra. It sparked a whole series of episodes, and it is this. What are the biggest mistakes you see beginners make in rent-to-rent? That's such a good question. Made me go so deep. Inspired my talk at Rent to Rent Live recently. That is a fantastic event hosted by Steve Curtis. You can check it out. Come to upcoming events. It's rent2rent.live. All things rent to rent in a live event. So, as you know, if you've been following along, I've split my answer to this question about biggest mistakes over 4 episodes. And this week is the final part, and it's going to be a good one, all about the knowledge you need. If you've missed the others, you can go back and listen here. Part 1 is renttosuccess.com/ATA29, Ask the Angels 29. Part 2 is /ATA30. And part 3 is /ATA31, Ask the Angels 31. And of course, they're all also in your podcast apps, or you can listen on the website. So this week, I'm continuing on with the third biggest mistake I see beginners make in rent-to-rent. So the mistake 3 is getting the foundations wrong. And within getting the foundations wrong, there are 5 things. People are getting the foundations wrong on not having clarity on what their business offers, not understanding how to choose the right area, not understanding what's required for the right property, not understanding the right contracts. We talked about those 4 last week, and today we're going to be talking about not having the right knowledge. What do I mean by it? Why it's important. So let's crack on and talk about the right knowledge as a foundation for your rent-to-rent business. Because I think it's really important to understand the process of rent-to-rent. Rent-to-rent is a business, and when you treat it as a hobby, it doesn't end well. As I mentioned earlier, or was it last week, people launch into this business without understanding it and are just feeling their way in the dark and hoping for the best. Honestly, they're signing contracts that don't protect them. They're getting themselves into all sorts of pickles. I get phone calls from people living in London who have bought deals from sources in Newport, which they didn't understand, to be managed by agents they don't know in areas they don't know. And they're losing money every month through lack of knowledge because they felt that investing in learning what they needed to know would be too expensive. And I've had that thought before myself. But the thing is, you always pay, whether you learn it in advance or whether you learn on the job. And sometimes on the job is more expensive. And it's not just financial, it's emotional expense as well, stress. So let me give you an idea of the things I'm talking about when I say that you need to have that knowledge foundation. And these are, you need to understand compliance. You need to understand how to make irresistible offers. You need to understand how to be able to do a property handover. You need to understand about tenant finding and onboarding. And you need to be able to understand how to set up your system so your business can run easily. And it's the foundation to your business being able to run without you. Now, you might have been thinking, but she hasn't mentioned numbers there. I haven't repeated the need to understand the numbers, which is fundamental, because I talked about it extensively in mistake number 2, which was relying on sources. So let's go through the other knowledge foundations that you need. Now, these are the things to run your business with ease and grace, because I bet there's people saying, oh, you don't really need any information to start up your rent-to-rent business. But I'm not talking about people who are running around like headless chickens, asking questions while they're running their business, that are really fundamental to the business, not understanding the basics of the business that you need to be able to explain to a letting agent or a landlord. Yes, of course, you're still going to be learning as you grow and develop your business, but there are some knowledge fundamentals and foundations that you need to understand from the start. So let's go through it. The first one that I talked about is compliance. This is the compliance in starting up your business, but also there's things you need to be compliant in legally while you're running your business. And this is things like how to legally onboard your tenants, which I'm going to come to in a moment. So we've talked about clients in previous episodes, but yeah, that is something that you need to understand as a foundation for your business. Now, the next one that I see people struggling with is you need to have knowledge about how to make irresistible offers. Now, I get people contacting me and saying, I've been trying to do this, nothing works, these deals don't stack. But when it turns out that they don't understand how to put across the offer in a way that's compelling. So exactly what to say to showcase your offer and what you deliver that's different to a high street letting agent, and why your rent that you're offering is not going to be the gross rent because you're paying the bills and so on. So there are a lot of different components to that, but that is another knowledge base that you definitely need to have to be able to be successful with ease and grace and freedom in rent to rent. The next one is the property handover. You really need to understand all the information you need to begin managing the property. And I talked about this in detail in Ask the Angels 8828. And you can listen on the website or on any of the podcast apps. It's rent-to-rent-success.com/8828. And the next knowledge foundation is tenant find and onboarding. So I mentioned this earlier when we talked about compliance. So you've got to know the step-by-step of the process of exactly what to do to onboard legally, quickly, in a time-efficient manner as well. And finally, the last knowledge foundation is your system setup. Because if you hear of people saying that their HMOs are very time consuming, it's likely that they don't have the systems in place to help run things smoothly. People just start in business without understanding the systems to put in place. The benefit of systemizing is that it's so much easier to outsource tasks when you're ready to do so. Because one of the reasons most of us go into property is to give ourselves more time. We don't want to give ourselves another job. And taking the time to put the right systems in place at the start will save you both your time and your sanity later on. So our systems have been honed over the years and have allowed us to hire an in-house team and to maintain the high service levels where we get so many 5-star reviews on Google. And that's the freedom that having a system gives you. So let me recap on the knowledge foundation that you need. We covered the knowing your numbers in the previous mistake 2. So on top of that, your knowledge needs to encompass compliance, how to make irresistible offers, how to do the property handover and get everything you need for managing the property, how to do tenant find and onboarding legally, quickly, and compliantly, and how to set up your systems for freedom, okay, and success. So in summary, the third biggest mistake beginners make in rent to rent is not having the right foundations in place. To really fly in rent to rent and run your business the way we like to do it, with ease and grace and freedom, you need to have clarity on your business offer. You need to understand how to choose the right area, how to choose the right property, how to use the right contracts, and you need to have the right knowledge foundations. If you're in the Rent to Rent Kickstarter mentorship program with us, we have all the resources for you to go deeper. M3.10 is on compliance. M5.6 is on how to make irresistible offers to landlords and agents, including the copy and paste templates. M6.1 is the property handover like a pro with all the templates that you need there. M6.4 is onboarding tenants and so much info in there. And M6.5 is all about your system setup for easy management. So Sandra's question has really made us go deep. We've had a whole series onto it. And I've taken a while to dig in and really ponder this so I can give you the best information. I've so enjoyed these 4 episodes on it, the biggest mistakes beginners make in rent to rent. And let's just go back and recap. Mistake 1, lack of focus. Mistake 2, relying on sources. And mistake 3, which we finished off today, getting the foundations wrong. That was an epic, wasn't it? So do share these episodes with anyone who's getting started and who needs to know what to avoid and what to focus on, because they need to avoid these mistakes. Let me end by saying what to do instead of what not to do. So for mistake 1, lack of focus, decide what you want to do first. Focus on that one strategy and go all in until you've got the cash flow. Until you've built that one bridge and it's gone right across the cash flow, go all in. So the next thing you need to do to combat mistake 2, relying on sources, is this. You need to know your numbers, you need to analyze your deals, and you need to make profit for yourself, not problems. So that was, instead of relying on sources, know your numbers, analyze your deals, and make profit, not problems. And finally, for number 3, getting the foundations wrong. This comes down to understanding that rent to rent is a business, and to create a simple to run, sustainable business, you have to know what you're doing. You cannot be feeling your way around in the dark. So know your offer, understand the areas and the properties that work, have the right contracts, and have the right knowledge. Yes, you can be successful. Understand that there's a success system. Everything you're confused about, there's already a solution to. Leverage the knowledge of others who've been there and have the results you want. And whether that's us or whether it's other people, get the answers to the questions that you have. The knowledge is out there. Leverage the knowledge of others. That's one of the most important things that I've learned in business and that we do. Now, if you'd like to learn more of the 6-step rent-to-rent success system, it's in our free Rent-to-Rent Success Guide and Masterclass. The Masterclass is an online It's a 90-minute video training. It's really engaging, compelling. It goes into a lot of detail. And you can find that at renttoRentSuccess.com/guide. I will see you all next week. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you would like more, we've written the #1 best-selling book on Rent to Rent. You can find it at renttoRentSuccess.com/book. Reviewers on Amazon have described it as the best rent-to-rent HMO book and also as a definitive reference guide and inspirational. Take your next step today and buy the book. You can find it at rentsuccess.com/book. And I'll see you again next time. Until then, remember, believe bigger, be bolder, be a game changer.